by God to build a house of peace where people will pray, and they will come on every lean camel and out of every ravine for the purpose of praising Allah, to glorify Allah. Oh, mountains of Mecca, what can you tell of the day that stones from the sky fell, destroying an army determined to break the house of Allah that Abraham built? Oh, mountains of Mecca, how was the dawn on the day that my prophet Muhammad was born? How did it feel knowing he was to be the last and most beloved of all, Rasul of Allah, Nabi of Allah? Oh, mountains of Mecca, you were there when the Prophet Muhammad climbed down in despair.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Dearest and most beloved and divine brothers and sisters of Islam, brothers and sisters in the concourse of humanity and the fraternity of religions, welcome to this presentation of the Electric Mosque's teachings of Islam, striving to bring Islam into your homes and into the corners of Allah's earth. Brothers and sisters, we will continue today on part 2 of Surah-tul-Ra'd. Surah-tul-Ra'd, the thunder, which was revealed in Makkah. Last recording, we did part 1, or section 1, and now we move to section 2. But before I move on to this, I wish to make a comment to Muslims, brothers and sisters around the country, around the world, because this is now going on YouTube and Facebook, and therefore around the world. I was at a meeting this morning, very important, and a prominent Muslim from a government ministry who was helping us to host the meeting, said he was in an area of Guyana and wanted to use a mosque for prayer and to use the washroom to cleanse himself and to do the wudu or ablution. But the mosque was so close, it was so filthy. The compound was not becoming that of a house of Allah. Then when they went to the washroom, they were travelers, musafirs. And Muslims, our masjids particularly, are supposed to be ready and prepared for travelers, whether we host them or whether they're just passing. We have moved on from some of that because of modernization and modern civilization of hotels and so forth. But people must be able to get a clean masjid and a washroom to use. It was very embarrassing to him, and he said he was very disappointed. And they should have had a note to say, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to our masjid. If you need a key to pray, ask the neighbor next door. Whether Muslims or non-Muslims, we have a tendency to have a very beautiful relationship. And when he went into the washroom, it was a stink, filth, dirty water, no soap if you were to manage to do something to wash your hands, and was very smelly like rotten meat. So I'm appealing to the Muslim organizations, individuals, leaders, peoples in general. We will see to it that our masjids, place of prayer, are welcoming, they're clean, and that we have keys left with a note left for somebody to use the masjid. And our masjids must be impeccable. And there must always be water and toilet paper and a piece of soap in the event somebody wishes to use the washroom. I was in Karuvutan not too long ago, and an area before Karuvutan. Went to an event at a popular small masjid. And we went to the washroom. They had no soap. The washroom was not very clean, but not even soap to wash your hands. So, this is advising us Muslims to be careful with our hygiene and our presentation. If a non-Muslim passed by and they wanted to use our washroom, we should never refuse them. Because that is also a kind of a dawah. Allowing a stranger to use your toilet and your washroom would cause them to respect Islam, if not to make them Muslims. Dawah, respectability. Dearest brothers and sisters, I will now move to part 2 of Surah-tul-Ra'd, and we will ask Sheikh of Islam to do the unique international recital that is so very beautiful.
وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى يدبر الأمر يفصل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون وهو الذي
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dearest beloved divine brothers and sisters, welcome to the Electric Mosque Teachings of Islam and this presentation of Surah-tul-Ra'd. This is part 2. For those who might have missed part 1 on television, you are welcome to check YouTube, Electric Mosque Guyana, ELECTRIC dash or hyphen Guyana for the presentations. And there are some old YouTube on the Electric Mosque Teachings of Islam by Hajji Roshan Khan. So tune in, get part 1 and other important presentations, and tell your family and friends to check in there as well. This program is shown on NTN, Georgetown, 7 on Saturday mornings and 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoons. Gather your family and friends and share the beautiful message of Islam. So I'll give you the Arabic at first. No, sorry, you already had the Arabic. I'll give you the English translation of the entire section, and then we go to do some dissection and some studies of the wisdom of Allah and the knowledge that He wishes to give to us. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Allah, know what every female womb doth bear. By how much the wombs fall short of their time or number, or do exceed. Every single thing is before His sight in due proportion. He knoweth the unseen and He knoweth the unseen and that which is open. He is the great the Most High. It is the same to him whether any of you conceal his speech or declare it openly, whether he lie hid by night or walk forth freely by day. For each such person there are angels in succession, before and behind him. They guard him by the command of Allah. Verily, never will Allah change the condition of a people until they change it themselves with their own souls. But when Allah willeth a people's punishment, there can be no turning back, nor will they find besides him any to protect. It is he who doth show you the lightning by way both of fear and hope. It is he who doth raise up the clouds, heavy with fertilizing rain. And I will read that back again. It is he who doth show you the lightning by way both of fear and of hope. It is he who doth raise up the clouds heavy with fertilizing rain. Nay, thunder repeat his praises, and so do the angels with awe. He flingeth the loud voice thunderbolts, and therewith he striketh therewith whomever he will. Yet these are the men who dare to dispute about Allah with the strength of his power supreme. For him alone is prayer in truth. Any other that they call besides him, hear them no more than if they were to stretch forth their hands for water to reach their mouth, but it reaches them not. For the prayer of those without faith is nothing but futile wandering in the mind. Futile wandering in the mind. Even the shadows whatever beings there are in the heavens and the earth do prostrate themselves to Allah, acknowledging subjection with goodwill or in spite of themselves. So do their shadows in the mornings and the evenings. Say, who is the Lord and sustainer of the heavens and the earth? Say, it is Allah. Say, do you then take for worship protectors other than him, such as have no power either for good or for harm to themselves? Say, are the blind equal with those who see? Or the depths of darkness equal with light? Or do they assign to Allah partners who have created anything as he has created, so that the creation seem to them similar? Say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of all things. He is the one the supreme, the irresistible. He sends down waters from the skies, and the channels flow, each according to its measure. But the torrent bears away the foam that mounts up the surface. Even so, from that ore which they heat in the fire to make ornaments or utensils therewith is a scum likewise. Thus does Allah by parables show forth truth and vanity. For the scum disappears like froth cast iron. For the scum disappears like froth cast out, while that which is for the good of mankind remains on the earth. Thus does Allah set forth parables. For those who respond to their Lord are all good things, but those who respond not to Him, even if they had all that is in the heavens and on earth, and as much more, in vain would they offer it for ransom. For them will be reckoning, be terrible their abode in hell. What a bed of misery. Sadaqal Halil Azim. Verily Allah is the best of knowers. What power Subhanahu wa ta'ala sends in this chapter called Surah-tul-Ra'd, the thunder. And we will now discuss and dilate for whatever time we have left. Allah doth know what every female womb doth bear, by how much the wombs fall short of their time or number or do exceed. Every single thing is before His sight in due proportion. We get it under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us everything in the universe. Before you think, once you think, He knows. What is fertilized in the womb, He knows. What will become of that child, He knows. Whether the child borns before time or the womb does not bear its fruit, He knows. Just as two trees, when we plant one that end and one the other end, one doesn't grow. I have it so many cases in my own backyard and compound. That Allah knows everything and no one knows what is in the womb. No matter how hidden it is, He is aware. But He went on to say, all things are regulated in just measure and proportion by Allah. Brothers and sisters, today, with science, mankind can see in the womb and know the sex of a child, or if the child is without a foot or an arm, through the process that Allah has blessed man with the intelligence of kun fayakun, be and it is, the ability of thought, the rationale, the ability of creativity. That's why Subhanahu wa ta'ala, to my opinion, is saying all things are regulated by Allah in just measure and proportion. In other words, humanity, with their proportion of the ability of thought and rationale and creativity, they can now see in the womb to know the condition of the child. But the point here, the general proposition is that every single thing is before His sight. He knoweth the unseen and what is open. He is the great, the most high. A verse of matchless rhythm in Arabic, my beloved, divine brothers and sisters, continues to repeat in the Quran. He knoweth the unseen and that which is open. He knoweth the seen and the unseen. In other words, He is the great, the most high. Verse 10. It is the same to Him whether any of you conceal His speech or declare it openly. Whether He hid by night or walk forth freely by day. So whether we speak it out loud or not, we may hide it from mankind. Even mankind has learned to read your eyes and your gesticulation and your hand movements. I can. I was trained in that in my study of police sciences. But whether you walk or you hide or openly, Subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. In other words, our most hidden thoughts and motives are known to Him at all times. For each such person, there are angels in succession, before and behind him. They guard him by the command of Allah. You know, while reading, I underlined that line in verse 11 of Surah-tul-Ra'd. We have heard that Allah puts these to keep watching us, but also for our protection. How many times, brothers and sisters, Electric Mosque, teachings of Islam around the world, tell me that you could have died, but something metaphysical, something esoteric, something unique happened, and you were saved. I had an experience in the west coast of Demerara when I just started my business in late 1979. I was coming down the highway, about to turn in Vredenhoek, and when I turned, something jerked the handle of the motorcycle, and a car was coming with such speed, your brother would not have been here today. It is the mercy of Allah. And some of you might have had experiences like this, and I have had several others. When your time is not ready, Subhanahu wa ta'ala will watch out for you. There are angels in succession before and behind Him, by the thousands, by the hundreds. It's not here in the Quran, but it's obvious. And they guard Him by the command of Allah. Verily, never will Allah change the condition of a people until they change it themselves with their own souls. But when Allah wills the people's punishment, there can be no turning back. Nor will they find besides Him any to protect. My brothers and sisters, this is a very beautiful verse, very powerful. That God Almighty, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, will not change the condition of a person, or of a people, or a nation, unless they change it themselves. If persons have certain behavior, attitude, pompousness, rudeness, disrespectability, ungratefulness, Subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to come into you and tell you to change it. Because He has breathed into us the breath of life, the capacity of thought, the ability to think, to decipher, to create. We, of our own conscience and brilliance, must realize that we were wrong. And we must know when to say we are sorry. I made a mistake. I apologize. And if that person or this speaker does not change himself, Subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to do no magic to change you. Because He gave you what? I mentioned it a bit earlier. The ability of thought. The ability to choose between right and wrong. And He gave us something more powerful within us when we do something wrong. It tells us, like a barometer that measures the wind, or a speedometer that tells you the speed that you're driving. He gave us what? The human conscience. That tells us when we are wrong. And if we cannot realize that we were wrong, and we cannot correct it, then He, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not going to do it for you. got to change your condition yourself for greatness, for beauty, for grandeur, for power. But when Allah willeth the people's punishment, Quran, there can be no turning it back. Nor will they find besides Him any to protect them. So if we do wrong, we commit wanton sins, evil, we're not kind, we're not helpful, we're not educating, we're not teaching, we're not helping, we must realize, and we're not praying, we're not giving zakah, we have the money, we're not giving khairat, that subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah will inflict punishment, and nobody can help us. But yet there is hope. Yet there is hope. We know the story of King Solomon. Sulaiman alayhi salam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. The great Solomon. He committed great crime against Allah and was chastised and condemned and abandoned. And his enemies were overtaking him, and he lost his wealth and power, all the blessings of God. But he went to Allah and he prayed. And he prayed. Nobody could have helped him in the world. But as the Quran says, dearest, most beloved and divine brothers and sisters, in the fraternity of religions and the concourse of humanity, what does Allah say? There can be no turning it back, nor will they find besides Him. That's the operative word. Any to protect. Yes, my hair is standing on end, and I'm feeling the surge of blessing and the boon of Allah going through my bones right now. Because yes, subhanahu wa ta'ala is the forgiving, the loving, the merciful, the benevolent, the magnificent. He will forgive if your heart is pure and clean. And if God Almighty, the Lord of the worlds, can forgive, then who are we not to forgive? And who are we not to utilize, not to think of utilizing soft power? What is soft power? The ability to forgive, the ability to show mercy, the ability to give a chance or an opportunity, a second chance. What is soft power? How can we forgive? Divine brothers and sisters, in the electric mosque teachings of Islam, the fraternity of religions, the concourse of humanity, we must be able to forgive ourselves. If I did something wrong, and I hurt someone, or I was ungrateful, and I was evil, I must say to myself, I forgive myself by the mercy of Allah. And then we'll be able to utilize that soft power to forgive others. God created man pure, virtuous, gave him intelligence and knowledge. He surrounded him with all sorts of instruments of His grace and mercy. In spite of all this, man distorts his own will and goes against Allah's will. But Allah will forgive. Dearest divine brothers and sisters, I have to close here as time is upon me, and I will have to continue another session of part 2 to bring justice to this. Surah-tul-Ra'd, the thunder. The thunder, which is a blessing of Allah and an instrument of destruction and fear. We are told in this Surah-tul-Ra'd that even the thunder worships Allah, and He uses it for fear and to help humanity. May the peace, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, may the peace And the mercies, the blessings of Allah be with one and all. Let us bless our government, the President, David Arthur Granger, all good people of this country, the opposition and the leader, to work for peace and goodwill of Guyana. Let us work with the government of Guyana, the government of the day. The will of the people is the will of God. Let us work with the police, the military, report criminals, help to save our country. Dearest, beloved, divine brothers and sisters,